everyone! Before I start this video, I just wanted to give you guys a little update on what happened to me this week. So, last Friday, my mom took me to a Bruce Springsteen concert, which was playing in the Oakland Arena. And I know that most of the people who watch my videos probably have no idea who Bruce Springsteen is, but on the off chance that there are some Springsteen fans watching my videos, I'm one of you! That said, the Bruce Springsteen concert was absolutely amazing. My mom, being the amazing person that she is, managed to get us into the pit. I was like about 2 inches away from the performers. It was so cool. And if you guys go to concerts regularly, you'll know that some fans will hold up signs that say stuff that is relevant to that band. My mom, she made a sign for me that said, "I can't sail, but I sure can sing," which, as all you Bruce fans know, is a lyric from his song Growing Up. Bruce Springsteen noticed my sign, smiled and pointed at it, not once, not twice, but 3 different times during the whole concert. And that wasn't even the best part. At the very end of the concert, when Bruce was smiling and waving and he was getting ready to go, like, leave, he noticed me and I was just waving, saying goodbye. He smiled, pointed, and then waved at me again. Okay. That said, on to my video for this week. So in order to get to the Bruce concert, I had to go on BART, which, as you non-Californians don't know, stands for Bay Area Rapid Transport. Now, most people, when they go on public transport, they think it's okay. Most people will say that it's a pretty good system in getting around. That group of people are either A, not like me, or B, have never been on BART before. The first big part of going on BART is the little gates where you put in your ticket to pay for your actual ride. In my entire experience in being in California, which is about 6 years now, I have been on BART about 7 or 8 different times. 4 or 5 of those times being in this weekend. And I didn't know that when you walk through the gates, you have to literally like sprint through those gates if you don't want to hold up the line. I mean, I was in front of a bunch of people who wanted to get onto the train, and I was trying to push my card in, and my card caught the top of the slot and pushed up, so it didn't go in. I got so many death glares from the people behind me just for missing the slot. It looked like I had committed a felony. That's how many angry stares I got. The next big part is actually getting up to the platform on top to get to the train, because the station that I use has an aerial platform and you have to go up. Usually BART has escalators that you can go up. This weekend, almost all of them were broken, so I had to use these stairs on all 4 or 5 of my trips into the city and back. And for those of you who are probably more athletic than I am, this isn't a big deal. The Orinda station is just 1 flight of stairs, so it's not that bad. But all of these stations that I got off on, they had about 3 or 4 different like platforms of stairs. When I got up, I was panting and sweating and it was really bad. The next part about being on BART is waiting for the train, and usually this isn't that long because you time it correctly, especially if you're with somebody who goes on BART all the time, which I was. But what my friend didn't tell me about was the wind that the train gets when you are standing down below in the tunnel station. I was standing right in front of the little margin where you're not supposed to stand when the train's coming, because you could like fall and get killed. And I was standing there waiting for the train, and I started feeling like a little bit of wind because the train was pushing all of the wind through the tunnel. And when you could actually see the train, it was literally like there was an extremely high-powered fan had like just turned on. And for most people, this isn't a really big deal. I mean, their hair just goes back and you might step back a little bit. When you have bangs, this is a very big problem, especially if you have long bangs that have a tendency to get into your eyes. I had so much hair in my face, I could not see until the train came to a stop. This was just extremely frustrating because I had spent a lot of time on my hair because I knew that we were going to a concert, and I had to redo my entire hair in about 10 seconds before I actually got onto the train. Speaking about getting on the train, that is the next big part about being on BART. When you get onto the train, first off, everybody stares at you because you're the one getting on the train, and it's like you're the new kid in class and everybody wants to check out the new kid. If you're not like me, then that is no big deal. If you are like me, then that is kind of nerve-wracking because you have all eyes on you. Once you get on the train, you have to find a spot. This can be very difficult, especially during rush hour, which I had to take 3 different trips through, especially if you don't want to end up sitting next to like a pedophile or something. Since we're talking about sitting, you have to be very conscious about the seat you find, because there's the off chance that you will sit down and then you will feel like this icky wetness. This is my reaction to how I reacted on the outside and how I was reacting on the inside. It's just water. It's just water. It's just water. Once you sit down, then you realize the problem that you have to find a place to like zone out on, especially if you're really tired, which I was at that point. So I was sitting and I was kind of just zoning out, and I realized that I was staring at somebody. And as many people know, that is extremely awkward and that's just bad. If you don't want to actually stare at people, or you don't want to come across that awkward situation, one of the remedies to that is listening to music, which for most normal people is pretty relaxed, but for me, we take care of our own. We take care of our own. Wherever the strikes from, we take care of our own. Yeah, kind of awkward. The next part about BART is actually knowing what train station you are getting off on. I have always been fortunate enough whenever I went on BART to have somebody who was more experienced with traveling on BART, so I have not had to experience this quite yet, but especially if you are by yourself, you start getting into the city and you go underground, every single station looks exactly the same, and unless you know like the name of your station, this could be very, very tricky for you. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. They all look the same. What stop is this? Ah! So yeah, you can understand my predicament right there. The last very big part about being on BART is the different type of people that you see. Most people, they're just commuters, they dress regularly. I saw at least about 5 different people that had either an unnatural shade of hair color, multiple piercings all over their body, or I saw one guy who had a mohawk that was almost about half as tall as he was. And I know that when you're growing up, your parents always tell you not to stare because it's impolite. This was my reaction outside and inside to seeing those type of people. How the fuck do you get your hair to stand up like that? So yeah, luckily my outside reaction wasn't influenced by my inside reaction. I probably would have been kicked off the train. So yeah, that was my exciting, wonderful adventure with Bay Area Rapid Transport. This is my first video where I'm actually going to have responses, or I'm going to ask for responses. And I want to hear from you guys. Tell me your funniest public transport stories, or what you don't like about public transport, or stuff like that. And we can all laugh and enjoy everybody's stories and just be silly idiots together. And I have nothing else to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a nice week, and I will see you all next Sunday. We take care of our own. We take care. Just as a note, this video was inspired by the wonderful YouTuber Dan Is Not On Fire. If you have not seen him, please check him out. His video, What Not to Do on Public Transport, inspired this video. And so if you do find similarities, I am terribly sorry. And yeah. We take care of our own.